Live from Music City, this is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, keenly awaited, highly anticipated edition of the Real Life Stock Review for today. It's Friday, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, Jeremy Alexander Newsome. Today is March the 24th. Hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. Let's talk about the SPY really quick and some interesting stuff going on. So the healthcare did not pass. They've been working on that for the last 2 days and didn't go through. And as of yesterday and also today, there was a little bit of selling out there in the market because of that. So we got some selling there, got some selling there. And really, this could look a lot like a bracket trade on SPY. Now, there's a lot of you who've been asking me recently, what is a bracket trade? Because you've been hearing me use that term. A bracket trade is really just a setup that you can do in your broker that looks a lot like this, and the actual term is OCO order. Order cancels other. And you can set up a trade where you have a bullish trade or you have a bearish trade. Meaning you're like, I don't care which way it goes, doesn't matter to me, I can make money either way, right? So if it closes bullish, you go bullish. If it closes bearish, you go bearish. Pretty much that simple. I think that's a decent setup like this on the SPY. Here's your exponential moving averages, and we're just chilling right on the 50. Right, so if it closes below there, I'm going to say I'm more bearish than bullish. That simply means you can do one of two things, right? If the SPY closes down there, you could either A, buy puts. You could B, do some kind of credit spreads or something like that. You could C, do some other kind of bearish non-directional strategy like bear put spreads, which is buying a put and then selling the put lower. Or D, you could do absolutely nothing and you could wait. Right, that's kind of the opportunities and the choices. So that's kind of what it means for me. I'll just have to see what the candle looks like, what kind of volume. And again, honestly, it's a little bearish up here. So here's the Dow Jones. For the weekly options newsletter subscribers, we got very, very close to a trigger on the Dow Jones. We had a entry right here at the purple line to buy some puts. And truly, we just got pennies away from it yesterday. So cancel that trade. Doesn't look like it's going to trigger, but hey, that's okay. We got the analysis right. It just didn't quite make it up to the neckline of this small double top. So at this point, probably trade down to the 50, and that's pretty much that. The IWM had some fierce moves the last 2 days. This is the Russell. And the IWM, an inside day candle this week. Dave had a 134, 131 bull put spread, which put a little bit of, probably put some gray hairs on his head because it expired today, but it did expire out of the money. So good job, Dave. Also keep in mind the IWM is right on top of the 100 simple moving average. So it is a morning star. We do have an inside day candle today. If the IWM can kind of pop out of here bullish, that could look pretty strong. So feel free to keep your eyes on the prize. Now, let's talk about some other interesting stocks. Ticker symbol MU. Got to give a shout out to a few traders. I got to give a shout out to Matthew, who bought some $29 puts on Micron and played it bearish. So this is a very nice white candle gapping up. So this is a retest gap, meaning that this is the retest, aka this is the initial fade, right? A fade is when a stock trades in the opposite direction of the gap. So very similar to Adobe. I'll hop over to Adobe and I'll look back at MU. So Adobe, I mean, just clear as day, beautiful, strong bullish trend, gapped up here, and it's pulling back. Now the reason that Adobe had a little bit bigger of an upper shadow initially when it opened, it ran and then went down, is because it was a black candle and people were trapped. People were losing money. They had to buy to cover. That's what that initial candle was. But MU just had a gorgeous white candle from yesterday and then gapped up, and everyone who was profitable is taking their profits. Like my good buddy Brian Noel over there in Colorado, and of course Amy Aimsters crushed it, had some shares over earnings. She liked MU long term. I wanted to do a put sale on MU long term, just didn't have the money for it over earnings. But anyway, that's pretty much it. MU at this level, look for something like this and like this to occur. I don't know the exact time or price, but that's the shape that I'll at least be watching for on MU. I did try to fade this today, and the first trade I'll show you guys that I had set up, we missed it by 2 pennies. I mean, these pennies, these Abraham Lincolns have been getting me recently. Here was the double top, pre-market, double top, and right there was the neckline. The price that I had, though, I did right here. True story. So the high of that candle on that retest was 2987. We had our entry at 2989. But the analysis, right? That's the point of the trading room, is to give you guys my analysis. We were bearish. We were looking at a rollover. So it did roll over initially. I took it bearish again right here, and then got stopped out right there by that pesky little wick for a 0.73R loss. So I was a sad panda, because it did end up rolling over nicely. Had I just left my stop alone, which is initially right here, I think, had I just left it alone for a little bit longer, it would have been fine. But anyway, MU was better than I was today on the day trading level. We also tried to play Humana bearish, ticker symbol HUM. And Humana, here is the daily chart. So you look at a nice bearish trend. You had the 100 simple moving average that was pretty far away. Here was the support. So it was a good bearish trend, good direction. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to play something on Humana. So here's the 5-minute chart on HUM, and again showing you another loss. And then Humana, we got in bearish right here on the retest once it broke the low of that white candle. Had our stop right there, and got stopped out again by a few pennies just to see it roll over and then bounce. So I was like, man, I'm trading like a one-winged bat carrying a cinder block today. Then I got real lucky on this RTN trade. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do one additional trade. So we posted this one in Slack, which is our community for the stock traders. So I posted this one right before I left. Ashley and myself went to the gym. But here's the trade setup that we posted. So I was like, a possibility for this afternoon. So if you open that up, this is what it looked like. So I wanted it to break down, retest, and then roll over. That was the exact analysis on ticker symbol RTN based on the 15-minute chart. This is what I like to refer to as an afternoon rollover. Well, here is the 15-minute chart, and we'll pull it up. We'll kind of zoom in here. And again, my lines are still here on RTN, and we did break down, and we did retest. So if I actually hop over to the 5-minute, you'll see where that retest happened. So let me show it on 15 again. I'm sorry. So here was the close below the low of the day, right there. There was the close, and this candle was that retest. It also kind of retested a little bit right there as a nice inside day candle. That was the retest. All that kind of happening while I was at the gym, speaking of a bracket order, using an OCO, right? So you had the stop and had the 2R target, and if it triggered, I was like, all right, is it going to get stopped out or is it going to go to the target? But I was at the gym. I tried not to worry about it. And again, the market just randomly sold off, which was kind of fantastic. So again, here was the close on the 5-minute right there. So once that happened, once that close was in, I set that up as a limit sell, 151.82 by 152.01. That was the play. Got out for 2 Rs automatically. And so Josh Berling, great trade also on RTN. That one saved me, though, honestly. Without that trade, I would have lost almost 2 Rs again for another Friday. But after commissions and everything, positive, woo! 0.28. Look out. Look out, boys and girls. Oh, man. Whole 0.2. So I'm going to go out and buy a hamburger and 2 orders of fries later tonight off of that money. So anyway, that was RTN. Nice retest gap. So here's the support on the daily. Nice little gap. And I got to give a shout out to my buddy who found that trade, Dean Chance. So Dean, thanks for bringing RTN to my attention, man. I appreciate that. All right, so next on the list we have requested is NVDA. Now we did get triggered into an options trade on NVIDIA today. We did not get stopped out on the option price, believe it or not. So even though I would have gotten stopped out on the stock price, the trade was, I want a limit buy of 370 if it was over 108.63 with a stop at $2. So the low of the option today, it got close. The low was 219. So we were 19 cents away from the stop. So we'll probably get stopped out on Monday unless the exponential moving averages can slowly creep up and pop this one higher. That's what I'm hoping for. We'll see. Fingers crossed, but risk is mitigated regardless. Matt DeLong, congratulations on your $100 put sale on NVIDIA. Justin Jeffries has shares and has a 116 April week 1 covered call. HTGM also on the list for a lot of traders. Oops, I keep typing that in wrong. HTGM. So HTGM, Ryan and Grant making some money on this trade. HTG Molecular Diagnostics, which is a fun word to say, molecular. Up 145% today. So this is just one of those random ones that, it's a whale. You hope you catch it if you can. but it gapped above all these wicks, so it definitely cleared a resistance, and it was a retest gap, right? So white candle gapping up, clearing that wick. So here's your 5-minute on HTGM, and you may or may not be able to see the retest. If you can't, I'll point out to you. There it is, though. That was it. So boom, boom, shakalaka. So Grant, Ryan, well done on that trade, gentlemen. Here's FCX on the daily chart. And FCX, as you know, some traders here getting in long with some put sales. 2 dojis back to back. Perfect dojis. I like the doji. Look at the doge. I mean, we got perfect dojis right here. Higher lows, lower highs. Monday or Tuesday, this thing probably breaks out in some direction. What direction? Probably bearish, if I had to guess. But if you're in shares, if you got put some shares, $14 covered call for April. That is $1.20 away if you're in long, which would be right at 10% return if you got called away. Not bad for a month. And FCX also is hanging out on some long-term moving averages to give it a little bit more reason why it should bounce. Here's the long-term 200. We're chilling there. And here's the 100 simple moving average. Now, agreed, it does look a little double topish. I'm with you on that. So if it breaks lower, I'm ready to start buying some protective puts just in case, because there's no reason to get hosed if you can avoid it. Let's go look at some of the tobacco stocks because they were moving a little bit today. As you might remember, I not too long ago in early February talked about the best way to likely invest in medical marijuana and made mention of tobacco companies, the big blue chips one. Well, here's Reynolds American. Last time I talked about it was back in here. So from there, we've moved probably about 8%. Not quite 8, but close enough. 6.9 or something. So anyway, REI, nice bounce. So we're continuing higher on Reynolds American. I'd say if you're not already in, probably not the most amazing time to buy right now because you're buying at the all-time high, the highest it's ever been. If you're buying right now, so a lot of volume coming in. Stock is just on a tear. Philip Morris had a little bit of a gap down. We looked at playing Philip Morris, but this was the other one that I mentioned back in February that would be a good time to buy if you're looking at getting into marijuana stocks back here at 102 and some change. So that was actually right there when I mentioned it. Great breakout on Philip Morris. So this was a good winner for a lot of traders back in February. So again, we talked about how to invest in medical marijuana over a month ago. If you still are interested in that video, it is still up if you want to check it out. And then British Tobacco, BTI, had another higher high as well. And so that one, not an all-time high, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it is. I thought it was higher at some point, like 2008. I could be wrong. Nope, I am wrong. It's another all-time high. So a new all-time high on British American Tobacco. Again, probably not the best time to buy right now if you're not already in. Just probably look for some pullbacks of these resistances and then buy the dip. But Charles, great job for crushing those, my man. Well done. And last but not least, here's ticker symbol ADI. This is coming out request straight from the mouth of Justin Lindemann, looking at it for his buddy Steve. So analog devices. Here's the weekly chart. And Steve might be in on ADI as a buy and hold. So this is the weekly chart. So we're going to zoom out really far here, put on a line chart to see where this thing can go. Really going to look for a target. And just based on this previous resistance, looks like we got some ways to go. Analog device, ADI, I do think is going to pull back a little bit more. It needs a pullback. It will be very healthy. So I don't think you want to necessarily exit. I mean, again, Steve, totally look at your portfolio and just make sure that's something you're comfortable with doing. But very, very strong bullish move, almost unstably high right now. And if it pulls back, it will be a healthy pullback. But I mean, you're coming into almost tech bubble all-time highs on analog device ADI Incorporated. So trading up to this level, you could consider a few options, and I do mean that intentionally. You could do a covered call and a protective put, getting yourself into a collar. But realistically, we've got higher to go. Just expect or kind of put into your plan, wait for that retest to come in, and then look to sell it around 90, which would be this previous all-time tech bubble high, which would probably not be a horrendous time to lock in a gain and then go look for something else to buy low, sell high. That's pretty much what I got. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for watching this Friday Real Life Stock View. There's a lot of other good videos coming out next week. Keep an eye out for that. If you have any questions, let me know. You know where to find me. My email address, Jeremy@reallifetraining.com. I'm also on Twitter, adding some nuggets. It's been a fun week. What a battle it has been. I'm going to see you guys next week as we wrap up the month of March, which is also Kids Month. April is Surprise Yourself Month, where the challenge is going to be do something that you've never done before. More on that next week. You guys rock. Until next time, love life, and trade it. Bye.